Rainbow Six Extraction takes the framework of Rainbow Six Siege, a PvP game, and reimagines it in a PvE setting with 3 people working as a team to defeat the alien threat known as the Archaeans. While a lot of your Rainbow Six Siege skills will transfer over, it is also quite different in a number of key ways. Which is why, after playing the game for over 20 hours, we have 15 tips to help you out when you first start Rainbow Six Extraction. And if you find these tips useful, why not hit the like and sub button? It really helps us out a lot. Okay, so probably the most important thing when it comes to Rainbow Six, whether it's Siege or Extraction, is your teamwork. I don't know about you, but I never like playing Rainbow Six Siege with randos. I always play with a personal party of close friends that I know. And that goes doubly so for Extraction. With Siege, at least you can just rely on your randos being good at shooting people, but with Extraction, you have to constantly be communicating due to the objective-based nature of the game. Like, yeah, you can solo, but I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, but say you do want to play some and your friends aren't available, so I'm gonna hop into the solo queue. You're gonna need to talk with a headset. The pings are okay, but they're not gonna cut it. So either get used to talking on the mic with randos, or only play with your friends. And that's because communication starts right away on the operator select screen. So every round of Extraction is called an Incursion, and every Incursion is broken up into 3 subzones, each with randomly generated objectives. At the start of an Incursion, you can see each objective very clearly, and certain operators are better for certain objectives. For example, if you want to locate tech objects, you want to pick IQ. Or if you need to sneak up and stealth kill particular Archaeans, this can be done with stealth characters like Vigil. The key is to spend a moment and talk with your team. Look at your objectives, see what you need, and make sure all the roles are being properly filled. A big part of this game is leveling up your overall career. It's how you unlock new operators, new maps, and new equipment. Playing on higher difficulties does improve the rewards and the XP you gain, but the best way to boost up your levels are the game's studies, which are Extraction's versions of map-specific in-game challenges. Each map has several pages of challenges, and each page features 3 studies. You'll need to complete the current page you're on before you can unlock the next page of objectives, and there's no way to change them, so you're kinda just stuck with whatever objective you currently have. If you want to be leveling up at a consistent pace, it's important to be focusing on these studies. Now the problem with this is that studies can require you to do things that may be misaligned with your current objective. The reality is sometimes you might just have to go rogue and do your own thing and only care about yourself, but if you're playing with friends, the best thing to do is just communicate with each other and decide, hey, we're going specifically into this incursion just to focus on these studies, and then get back out. We did this plenty of times throughout our play, and we found we were able to level up pretty consistently. Speaking of studies, sometimes they will call for killing very particular types of Archaeans. This can be a little bit frustrating because what Archaeans spawn on the map is randomized. So there's no way to go into a map guaranteeing that you will find that particular Archaean that you need for the study. However, you can improve your chances by playing on harder difficulties. For example, there are some enemy types that just straight up will not spawn on the base moderate difficulty. So if you're trying to find, say, Tormentors on Alaska, don't play on moderate difficulty. Play on at least cautious to guarantee that some Tormentors might show up, and from there, with each difficulty, it just increases the chances of these more rare types of Archaeans showing up. Another key to a successful extraction is good nest management. Nests are the glowing spores from which virtually all of the subzones Archaeans spawn from, and each subzone begins with these nests lying dormant. The trick, specifically on higher difficulties, is to employ stealth. By taking out nests quietly, you'll avoid stirring them into spawning many more Archaeans. Once an Archaean spots you, it'll perform a shrieking scream that will alert nearby nests, permanently activating them with a more steady stream of Archaeans spawning out. It's rarely a good idea to go into an incursion guns blazing. You want to start stealthing as much as possible. This means there's pretty much no reason not to have a silencer attached. Of course, you should always be performing stealthy melee takedowns to save on ammo, especially on harder difficulties where ammo is at a premium. take the time to look at the attachments on your operator's weapons and put on silencers whenever possible. Of course, this is Rainbow Six, so there might be times when you need to use a big hulking shotgun to blast a hole through a wall. We found this tactic to be not quite as necessary as it is in Siege. However, there are times where we found ourselves doing this, either to avoid a certain group of enemies, get to an objective faster, or make a quick escape. Something cool to note is that in Extraction you have a special flashlight affixed to the front of your gun at all times that can actually let you see aliens through breakable walls. This is a great way to be able to identify Archaeans easily and shoot them through the walls without ever putting yourself in danger. A certain video game muscle memory that you're going to have to abandon when playing Extraction is the idea that you need to always push through no matter what. In Extraction, it's often better to extract early and save yourself a lot of headache. Sometimes a run just goes wrong, allies die, you lose a significant chunk of your health, and realistically you don't think you're going to make it to the end. If that's the way you're feeling, cut out early. If you end up dying, you will lose that operator as well as a good chunk of your progression XP, and you won't get it back until you go rescue them. Also, you get a pretty large XP bonus if you extract with your full squad, so going the rest of the way solo might not net you as much XP as it would extracting with your full party. Another important thing is to manage your resource supplies. Resources come in the forms of react gear, abilities, ammo, and health, and all of them are very important to keep full up. When you bring up the map menu, you actually have a live tracker of how many resource caches are left in the active subzone you're in. Always double check this if you're looking for something like a health kit, so you're not wasting time looking for something that might not even be there. And of course, because these are limited, you do want to make sure you're sharing them with your teammate. The reality is, especially on earlier difficulties, you don't need all that ammo, but your ally might. So it's always good to just communicate with everybody and make sure everyone is topped up and has everything they need. If finding resource caches is a big priority for your team, make sure to have someone play as IQ, whose ability lets you easily find them. You can also point out resource caches using the ping system. I said before that the ping system isn't a replacement for mics, and that is true, but you should still be just pinging everything all the time. Ping enemies, ping spores, ping resource caches, ping, ping, ping. Okay, here's like a really quick tip that's just kind of nice to know. Whenever you're moving along to the next subzone, you need to have 2 players activated in order for it to start counting down. However, that countdown is 30 seconds. If you just want to speed things up, have the 3rd player come in and also activate it, and it will switch to a 5-second countdown. This can be incredibly useful if the extraction zone is hot and you're trying to get out of there ASAP, or you're just looking to speed things along. If you want to make an objective easier in this game, the key is to spend as much time scouting the surrounding area of the objective as possible. That means killing Archaeans and destroying nests. There are certain objectives that will alert nearby nests and they will start spawning Archaeans in, so if you destroy them beforehand, it'll make things a lot easier for you. If you're ever trying to do a mission where you're rescuing an operator, a way to make it really easy is just to go around the area of the Archaean tree and destroy all the little nests. When you actually activate the rescue attempt, it doesn't spawn more Archaeans, so as long as you destroyed all the nests, you should be able to save them without any extra stress. Something you'll have to worry about throughout this game is Sprawl, which is the gross goo that just covers the entire map. Archaeans spawn it, nests spawn it. It can be a real pain because you move slower in Sprawl and Archaeans move faster and can sometimes do more damage in Sprawl. It gets even worse on harder difficulties where you can get a mutation where Sprawl turns green and becomes poisonous. So how do you manage Sprawl? First off, always kill enemies in their weak points. When you kill an enemy normally, they actually leave Sprawl behind when they die. But if you kill them in their weak point, they do not leave down Sprawl. Arcane weak points are pretty obvious. It's the pink glowish hue that you can see on their body, so just aim for that and you should be fine. Of course, what do you do when you already have Sprawl to deal with? There is a cool laser tool you can get that can remove Sprawl for you, but you don't get that until level 25, which is a long ways out. Instead, you just want to shoot it, or melee it, although melee is very, very slow, so probably just shoot it. Having full mobility is a huge plus, so it's really important that you take the time to shoot all the Sprawl before you start an objective, or to help create a path for a planned route that you need to take. And really, that kind of sums up the whole ethos around this game. It's about scouting things out in advance, planning your routes, planning your objectives, and then acting accordingly. If you play smart and communicate with your team, you will be knocking out incursions like nobody's business and having a pretty fun time doing it. But of course, there's probably some tips we missed, so if you have any advice to give to your fellow Rainbow Six players, throw them down in the comments below, and thanks for watching.